DJ, take it away.
All right, so I get to get started here with our landing page. This is something that's we worked on a lot over the last week to 10 days or so, and I kind of put together this specific homepage with like the logo, and then just kind of thinking about the background, the color gradients, and all of that. So yeah, like kind of big picture for styling, we did use Tailwind CSS. Which has really been a fun thing to work with and learn. But we just wanted like some place where, you know, if someone's coming to our app for the first time, they're like, oh, this is interesting. Let me see what this is all about. So we have some buttons here. If you click on the learn more, there's just kind of a brief overview of how our app Smart Shopper works. So basically we can click on get started to start a new list. We can do join list to actually type in a code that you get from someone else, and you can join an existing list that way. And then there's just a couple more things in that particular modal that show like, make sure you save your purchases and that sort of thing. Oh, it also talks a little bit about the algorithm having to do with like, you know, how often you buy items and what groups they end up in over time, which is really cool. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the app. And for that, Shelly, go for it.
So when you click on get started for the first time, you start a list. So that's what you've got. When you click on that, you have to add an item. So I'm going to add bananas, if I can spell them. And we get a little pop-up, successfully added. You can click on list view and see your list at any time. You can go back to add more items. And now you can log out. The token is shown all the time, but when you click on log out, it'll say, make sure you saved the token. So you can cancel, click copy, and you know that your token is copied. And it keeps warning you. I'm going to join a list because I already have one set up and hit submit. And this is what it'll look like when you get there if you've already had some purchases. So everything is sectioned off by when we think you'll need it and color coded as well. So we have a kind of soon, you'll need it in less than a month, not soon, more than a month, inactive. And anything new you add gets added to inactive. So up here at the top, we've got what you need soon that's been calculated. If you want to toggle that, because theoretically your list could be 50 or 100 items long, so you can go into other sections independently. And let's see. Yep, we added an item. That's it. Next up is the functionality in the lists, and that's Alina.
Mm-hmm. So the user can choose any item, and as many items is needed. So and then click a submit button. So this submit button updates the item information and saves to database, and item info is updated. And item saved marked as purchased for 24 hours. Also, if you have a big list, so probably you would want to search through the list. So for this one, we added an input. So this one works seamlessly. So you just start typing and you can see how list is updated. Also, you can delete any item from the list. Yeah. So Lindsay.
So this week I focused on taking all of our buttons and functionalities and turning it into a responsive header, and then this footer to save our form. So a lot of Flexbox went into that, but I took the logo DJ created for the homepage, incorporated into our header. I did our title with the list name stacked on top of each other on the left side. And then on the right side, I have these wonderful buttons that Alina really had the functionality put together for, and I just moved them up to the top of our form. There's a lot of hover effects in this header, so if you hover on it, it turns the orange. And then also with the buttons, they also have a little hover effect. That's our navigation button. So we have everything collapsed in this header, and then it's also mobile responsive. So on a smaller screen, you'll see a hamburger style menu that opens and closes on click with still all of the buttons and everything that you could need.
The other thing we added too, I forgot about when you're doing this, is the headings for the table move away. so that it's more tiny screen friendly instead of having all of that out. And all of this was done with Tailwind, many, many, many Tailwind classes.
Does anyone else have anything to add from our team? Did we cover it all? I know there's a lot of functionality that we did this week that we just put a lot of time and effort into making this really perfect and cohesive. If nobody has anything to add, then we can start our toasts. So TCL-36, what a great team to be a part of. I'm so thankful I got this opportunity. And I've learned so much over this experience. I've gained a lot of confidence in myself as a developer, talking about technical concepts and everything. That's thanks to the other developers I was working with, being, you know, not afraid to try new things, and then also our mentors who just gave us the best advice. And like we didn't even have to ask. Like, they were anticipating our needs before we even like were able to like verbalize it or get there most of the time. So like, it was just a really great experience for me. And I want to thank Andrew, the mentors, developers, everyone. Thank you so much. This was an amazing experience. I'm so happy I was able to be a part of it. So cheers to y'all, and I'll pass it off to our next team member to give a toast. Shelly, do you want to go?
Had to drink to yours first. You said everything perfectly. This has been so much fun. And I was gonna say super, super challenging, but it wasn't. I don't know how to explain that. Every time we got started with, okay, this is gonna be the one we can't do, we did, because we worked so well together. The pair programming was amazing. I know that pair programming is good, but I also know that I have the best teammates. There's no doubt in my mind. And our mentors have been amazing. Technically, emotionally, I don't know what ecumenically means, but I know it's a funny joke from a movie. But I have loved all the support and the laughing, and it's just been great. And I hope that we get to keep doing things together, that it's not over. Alina.
Yeah. So it's hard to say how grateful I am, Andrew, for this, that you created this project. I'm sure you already heard this from other people, but it was yes, it was life-changing. So I didn't have this experience, and I needed this. I know, like we all needed this experience, like collaborate as a team and work as developers all together. And our mentors, like you are the best. You were so supportive, and you also like easily share your experience with us. And yeah, it felt like it feels like a family already. Yeah, so my teammates, I will be missing you. So yeah, it's a great experience, and this experience was only positive. Yeah, and very helpful. Like I know, like I'm different now. Like when I started this program, I was different as a student, as I didn't have this like confidence. Yeah, but now like I know, I can see like how my life like changed already, because I know I will succeed, like because I already have this experience. And yeah, thank you very much. I'm very grateful to you all.
Yeah, I just want to say a toast to everyone here. I am incredibly thankful to be in this community. I mean, I think we've all had our own journeys up to this point, but I would definitely echo what Alina said, and that this was life-changing. I mean, truly, like, you know, boot camps and like self-learning and all of that stuff is great. And like, there's so many resources out there. Like there's yeah, I mean, there's so much to choose from, but this community is so intentional. I feel like the people are just so open and welcoming and like willing to help. And that's like the hugest thing. And like, I don't know, I just think about our mentors and how they've modeled for us, like what it actually means to always be learning and to always be curious and to like ask questions and stuff. And it's been crazy. I've loved every second of it. And I really want to shout out to my fellow developers, because I mean, it's just been a crazy last couple of months between building this project and starting a new job. And I feel like, y'all have been so supportive and understanding if I'm like, hey, now it's not really a great time, that sort of thing. So definitely thank you for that. And I've learned a ton from you as well. So yeah, I hope we can keep collaborating in the future, definitely stay in touch. But yeah, I'm just super grateful for all of you. So cheers.
Cheers.
It's amazing. I was like, a little verklempt. This is this is just it's so, people have said some of these things before, but you all just I think this team was really, really special. And it kind of just shows just the fact that you're all like y'all have the same background on your Zoom. Just like little details like that. You bonded as a team and worked so well together. And credit to the mentors too for creating the environment where they could all do this. This so great, so amazing work by all of you as well. So proud of you, and the app looks great. Looks like it works really well and everything. Yeah. Oh man. Good stuff. So great. I'm going to tell Stacy she has to watch this recording because she'll start crying, I'm sure.
Please do then.
Wow. I'll let you get on with your retro and everything. I'm going to drop, but I'm so glad that I was here to just hear all of you say all this firsthand. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, make sure we get connected so I can help you as you're getting those jobs and everything. Yeah, really want to. I know all of you you're gonna make it. You're gonna break in, and you're gonna be established programmers in no time. So, great work, and yeah, definitely be in touch for sure. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm still a little like shocked, and that was so great. Sorry, Eddie, were you saying?
No, yeah, I was just going to build on exactly what you're saying and what Andrew said. Like, what a team, you know what I mean? Like, you all, have been so in sync. The way you self-organized this last week, and even like this celebration event together, the way you all just handed off the demos, like I feel like I was sitting at work. Honestly, you all like did that demo more seamlessly than most things at my job, right? Like you all handled like that as like one of the smooth teams at work, as opposed to one of the disjointed teams at work. So yeah, like that is amazing. And building off of what like you all like, we're headed into retro, so I should probably say this for retro, but you all have, been an amazing team for us to be working with as mentors, right? Like, there's people of all different, places that come here, and, you all just have made it incredibly easy to be a mentor. Like it's almost like we're just here for fluff, but that's okay, because we get to be here and enjoy it with you all. So we'll take that. That's all from me.
Okay, yeah, this just feels like a formality, but might as well do it since it's our last one. So here's the link for our retro. And there's one extra column called things learned. This is more, I just figured it might be nice to quickly reflect. This could be broad things, but also specific things like a type of React hook or something that you picked up in the past 8 weeks, just because also, even with boot camps and stuff, it's easy to forget how much you learn in like a really short period of time. And it will help us because the three of us are writing a blog article praising you guys. So then we can mention things like, oh, and this is what they learned, and this, so it will selfishly help us as well. But I thought it might be a nice review, a recap. So, okay, this one is a little longer. I'll put on like 8-ish minutes, 10-ish minutes, but I'll check in meanwhile, and if everyone is done, then we'll stop early. So. Okay, we had like 5 minutes. I'm still writing my appreciations, but anyway, you got everyone's still writing a little bit. Okay, okay. Okay, how are we feeling? Do we need a few more minutes? A little bit?
I'm good.
Okay. Shelly, it looks like you're concentrating. Do you need another minute? Or we're good? We're good? Okay. Okay, well, it ended up at the top. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, so, okay, so starting with, okay, there we go. I'm getting so distracted. Oh wait, Lindsay's is at the top. Lindsay, you can go first.
Sorry, I just sent. Okay. Okay, so I started with the things I learned, and then I moved to this one, and then there's so much to write. Wow, okay. So I just want to shout out to all of my teammates that I got to work so closely with this week, and just see the way that you handled this kind of like free range of issues. We had a lot of meetings, and at every meeting, like everyone was so contributory, like everyone was focusing on getting us progressed on our app to kind of get to this final vision we have now. So thank you guys. Like Elena, you were awesome this week. I love your passion for engineering. You are so into coding and finding new features and finding different ways to do things. It's amazing to be around. It's very inspiring, and it helps me get more excited about things. So you can make a very big impact on me, and I want you to know that. Especially the headers thing. Like I was working on it last night, and I was like, wow, it'd be great if it was on this other page, but I just like couldn't get there on. I couldn't figure out like how to do it. There were so many different ways, and I was getting a little overwhelmed. So I just got it sent the way it was, and then you picked it up today, and it was already done. Like it just happens, and that's the kind of developer you just make things happen and figure out how to do things. And I love being around that, and you're very inspiring to me. So thank you. DJ, wow, wow, how do you do it all? I don't know. I think about it sometimes. I wonder he's in rehearsals. He's also in a full-time job. He's also at every meeting that we're going to, a Collab lab. He's doing this home screen design. He's commenting on all these PR requests. How do you do it? I don't know. But your goals. And it's great to see, and you're very inspiring as well. The homepage design looks amazing, and it was so nice to have that get us more into our app, have the image logo, just wow. Okay. And then Shelly, what a leader this week. What an amazing leader to have. I don't know how you handled all of these things coming at you, this free range, what do we even do with that? The very first meeting, you come with a design for our app. I don't even know how you did that, but it was amazing. It was amazing. I just had I came with a couple websites, maybe it's could work, maybe that could work. You had a whole app design. It was insane to see. But I really appreciate working with you and all the effort you gave this week. We couldn't have done this without any of us, Shelly, DJ, or Elena, and I'm very happy I got to work with you guys. So I hope we stay in touch. I'm sorry I didn't get to the mentors. I love you guys all too, but yeah, I did on the learning section. So
that's okay. I ended up just abandoning some columns because that's all I could do. Well, Eddie and Rudy, I mean, you guys are great. Eddie, I really loved. There was one PR in particular where it was a really tricky problem, and there was a lot of going back and forth with I think everybody had looked at that or touched it in some way. And then you just came in with these amazing comments that I felt really drove things home about how it might be different if you were looking at it from a perspective of being on a production team and testing. And I forget everything you said, but I remember looking through it and being wow, yes, right, yeah, that's good. Yep, I'm going to remember this. And so that was, I really enjoyed learning from you. And Rudy, the curiosity and genuine love of coding you've brought, I think was just a breath of fresh air for everybody. I know, I'm sure they'll mention it more, but every week people mentioned how amazing it was to hear you be so share your curiosity. And I think someone with so much experience being that vulnerable and open to trying new things is so nice to see. So yeah, you guys were great. Really loved the mentors. And you guys wow, just really, really wow. Really impressed with how you worked together from the start. I mean, I think Andrew was saying oh, it's nice for the mentors, that they created the atmosphere. And to be honest, you guys would have done that with other mentors yourselves, I think. But we are so happy to have been able to hopefully help in some way. And I was saying apply to things as a team. That's an option somewhere, you know. And Shelley, your organizational skills this week, it's like shine something. Anyway, I thought that you really showed that strength, and like there's just the fact that you created all the little general plans for the week, and then I feel like it just enabled everybody to do what they do best. So that was really key. And Lindsay, like the way you attack new things is really inspiring to see. And I learned new things about the details. Oh, look at that. Cool. Yeah, and DJ, I mean, we've said it before, but it's just been so cool to see you transition to your new position and also be so committed to the team. And the homepage looked amazing. And Elena, you took a lot of everyone contributed. So it's not, you know, it's not just one-sided, but I feel like you really took the lead sometimes in helping with PRs. And with the tricky problems, you had your hands in like both teams. And then, and it felt like also that it was, not that you weren't open before, but to kind of get to know you more throughout the weeks and to see you open up more and more has been like really, really nice to get to know you and wonderful to see. And so, yeah, and just like these really awful, weird world times, it's been really inspiring to see you all like work so hard for each other and for this project. And yeah, it's been really nice to see. So thank you. And Elena.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it again and again. I'm grateful to you guys, like to my teammates. I'm lucky. I feel lucky, and you're so nice teammates, right? Sorry. So yeah, especially I want to thank you, like Shelly. It was told already, like you was our captain this week, like I like this term, like fearless leader. So I think without you, we wouldn't do this as such a, like we wouldn't do this great job maybe. And Lindsay and DJ, like I'm really grateful to see you. Like Lindsay mentioned, she had like an interview, so obviously it's like a very stressful process and a lot of like job to do and prepare. And DJ, you're like working already, and yeah, so I'm very grateful that you are like with us, like contributing and engaged and involved, like, and like you did a lot of like job during these 2 weeks, and our app looks like perfect. It's like it's all your contributions. Yeah, and our mentors, of course. Yeah, like yeah, we worked like these 2 weeks like on ourselves, but yeah, like we kept like we was able to feel like you were around for us. And Lauren, thank you a lot for your like for that you supported me personally. Like it was hard 2 weeks, and so yeah, you showed the support for me, and I'm very grateful to you guys, to all of you. And next, Shelly.
So, I mean, I think I said everything and I'll continue to say it. You guys are the best mentors. And even though we are the best developers, I think it's a group effort that made this environment work so well. You guys let us, you know, try things and encouraged us, and we're such awesome cheerleaders. It's just kind of amazing. Eddie, your real world examples of like, this is what it's like in an office. They're helpful, but the best part is that they're just so like, I don't know, I'm going to say real because I can't think of another word to put it there. It's just like, you're not trying to teach us, you're trying to go like, this is what it's like in the real world. And, you know, this is what you're doing well, and how to navigate that, or how this is totally not like the real world, has been so helpful. And Lauren, you're amazing. I go back to that one time because you didn't want to push too hard. Like you're thinking about us all the time and thinking about what we need. And, you know, you can just feel it, and it feels so good. Like office hours didn't feel like, you know, meeting with our bosses or meeting with our capital M mentors. It's like, okay, now the whole gang is getting together to try and work through this. So it's been amazing. And Rudy, your comments and ideas and your just unbelievable energy and responsiveness online is just amazing, but I'm going to definitely say that my favorite part is your sense of humor and the fact that you have no problem roasting me, even though you didn't know that you could. So that has been a lot of fun. So I'm going to go on to my developers since I'm there. I don't know where my thing is, but like we're so good together from the beginning. And I think all of our hands are in everything. And we all had ideas and no egos. It's like we would do one thing and then someone would have an idea. I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. And it shows. The front page is gorgeous, and that's all DJ. The way stuff functions and all the ideas, like the toggle. I mean, Lindsay, you just like find these things because you know they have to be there. Even if you don't know what they are, they're like, this has to work. I'm just gonna go find it. And it's inspiring. And Alina, there aren't words to describe how like generous you are with your brains. The fact that you jump in, like, I have an idea and we're gonna do it. Let's do it. You joined me so many times outside of group hours just to brainstorm. Like even this week when I'm doing stuff, you know, my job, quote unquote, because we were a little more independent this week. I think we met like 3 times, Alina. So she working on responsiveness and stuff like that and forcing me to use the inspect tool because I never use it enough. You guys are amazing, and we definitely have to do a startup. I don't know about the money thing though. Somebody else has to deal with that one.
I think Rudy said he would put some seed money in there.
Rudy's
so.
up, then we're in. Cool. Now we just need an idea. Oh.
Okay, I think it's Rudy. Sorry, Eddie next. Yes.
Yeah, that looks like it's Shelly, and then me. Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, building on, you know, what I said just before this, what a team, you know what I mean? Just seeing how much you all function as a team as opposed to individuals, like that is something that, you know, as you go through different jobs and different companies, like you find teams that feel like teams and they work together, and you find companies you work at that are teams which are made up of individuals. And you are the first, right? You all are the team that came together. And like when you get to be a part of a team like that, it's actually pretty rare in the working world, unfortunately. But like when you actually are at a company and you see a team come together, like the team that you all have come together as, like you can do more than, right? It's like multiplication rather than addition. And so you do more than all of your efforts combined because you are all built differently and wired differently. And like you have this multiplicative or exponential effect on each other's skills. So it was awesome to see, amazing experience to be a part of for you all, and like take this feeling with you as you go to different companies. And like, you know, you are at the mercy of the culture around you, right? But like as much as you can, like look for companies that have right culture like this and try to gather teams, like group up in teams with people like you did here. And like when you all move on to a better job, like every company will be sad to lose you if you know, do what you did here at other companies. And yeah, I mean, this has been an amazing experience. Like I would love for any of you all, you know, to be able to work with any of you all at like my day job. That includes the mentors as well. So hopefully there's some experience in the future where I'll get to work with one or multiple of you all, but it's been great.
Yeah, so the first thing that came to mind was Shelly. I mean, honestly, these last 2 weeks, her organization and her general like just sense of calm and like, this is what we got to do. This is the time, the order of the things we need to do them in. I mean, again, like it's just flowed so smoothly. So I really want to shout her out. So yes, thank you, Shelly. And yeah, I just you know, I said it a few times already, but like everybody on this team has been a joy to work with. Alina, I feel like you have solutions to problems like that. Like it's really incredible how fast you're just like, oh, try this, or let's move this, or let me just whip this other thing up. Like you move and think so brilliantly. Whoever you get hired by is going to be incredibly lucky to have you. And Lindsay, I've just been so impressed working with you as well. Like, you know, you just know about a lot of different things, whether it's responsiveness or whether it's like accessibility type things. And like, you really show your curiosity in terms of like, yeah, I'm going to like be part of a lot of different groups and like really, you know, contribute as much as I can. And that's just a really incredible trait to have because you're so passionate about this. So thank you for being you. And then again, yeah, the mentors, I definitely echo what Shelley said about, you know, Rudy, the sense of humor. There were times when I was reading through the Slack and I literally laughed out loud. Like, I mean, like you should seriously be like, you could be like a developer comedian. Like it's great. So, you know, thank you for bringing that sense of lightness and that humor. And then, of course, Eddie and Lauren, you know, just the experience and the knowledge that you brought has been so cool. I should also shout out Lauren because she mentioned the Collab Lab, like when we talked like a year ago or something. She was like, yeah, it was a really great experience. So like, she got it on my radar like a really long time ago. And so to like, be here to be doing this and to have you as one of my mentors is super, super cool. So yeah, so thank you all.
Rudy, I think
yeah,
that's lovely.
yeah. The part is super hard here is like, if I really wanted to write all the appreciation I wanted with like a novel, like, you know, book per person with like, you know, the super thin Shelley roast in the middle or something. So what I wrote here is just like a tiny version of that. I think you're all amazing. And I also love like the energy and inspiration. I came into this hoping to give a lot and that people don't have to be repeating like, you know, less stuff I self-learned and all that. I was kind of hoping to help others get there quicker. I didn't expect how much the learning from everybody, especially it just happened that this also coincided with me having to learn some new stuff. And I just like love the inspiration from this team for that. And, you know, I should probably just talk about people in detail too, so you don't think I'm like generically tossing the name out. Like, what's your name? Shelley, Belly, what are you again? Okay, so all of you, what I love is like how you have like all like unique ways of working and it just meshes so perfectly. Everybody mentions Shelley as the leader and organizer. That's like sometimes one of the most difficult things because, you know, everybody's looking at you to keep a ship afloat. And when it's like 5 minutes to midnight, Eric goes, Shelley, what do we do now? We should be doing what? And it's like, it's not an easy thing. And I love how you're growing into it. Alina, I think you're one of the people that usually what happens at work is like you would eventually become like a full stack engineer because it's like, oh, Alina can figure everything out. Give her some of the back end. Get her some of the native development too. She can figure out everything. Get her to build a car now. Like, I just love how you help team like connect some of the tougher things together. DJ, you're able to do a day job in this. Yeah, it's holy shit. It's amazing. And then when they mention rehearsals too, I'm like, wow, you're just like super people here. And Lindsay, I love how you're picking things up and then applying them. And it kind of reminds me of how I'm learning too. Like, I look at tutorials online and I'm like, but then I see somebody else do it and then it clicks. Oh, right. Well, because this makes sense. I've been trying to do this. Now I see how. And Eddie and Lauren, like, you're amazing. I'm just kind of running out of the words here. Like, I'm pretty sure when this whole thing started, Eddie and I were like, it's our first time. How do we do this? And then Lauren was like, and here's like a list where I think that should be happening. You were like, oh, we're not so scared anymore. Like, Lauren's here to make sure. So Lauren is our shell. Yeah, and Eddie, I love how you care about people and technology. Like, you're just such a wholesome person. Like, it just feels so inspiring. I wish the world had more Eddies. And all of you too. Geez, it feels weird because everything I praise for one person, everybody else has as well. And I'll just shut up now. That's my whole spiel for this thing. Just like thumbs up for everybody.
Okay. What went well? Rudy.
team cohesion. You're learning who's good at what. You're learning to ask for help. You're learning about yourself as well, and keep doing that. You'll keep also changing how to compensate for your weaknesses, what your strengths, what you work well with. I love seeing that in action.
Yeah, I feel like every week has been, we have so many appreciations to say, but it's legitimate. It's not just, what is the term? Like blowing air. I think it's, anyway, it's really, and then when you think about, and it's easy to kind of take that for granted and to just be like, oh, everything is going really well. But it means that people are, like someone said, there's no egos. People are learning from each other, taking criticisms, taking suggestions, giving suggestions in kind ways, taking them for what they are and not personally. It's just been really, really great to see everyone working so seamlessly. Shelley.
Yeah, you said it pretty much perfectly. Those are all the highlights of our teamwork. The fact that we were really driven by how well each other did was a highlight. Like, we really like to see each other's successes and big ideas hit. And I think that's why our product's great.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks was different from the other weeks. So I liked how we did this, special thank you to Shelly, you organized us. And yeah, so how we because before when we started, everything was prepared for us, issues and all this step by step. So we knew what to do. It felt like maybe it's different, it's not real world because we have these instructions, but 2 last weeks, I'm glad we did this. We had this experience because we wasn't organized. We did it ourselves, Shelly prepared issue. We had to have these calls more often, and we had these discussions in Slack. It was a great experience, and we did it. We killed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of building on that, right? I think what went really well is people can either be good at independent programming or they might be good at pair programming, but for you all to have seamlessly transitioned from weeks and weeks of pair programming to literally just dividing and conquering the app, and the app isn't recognizable from what I saw last week. And so that's amazing. You all did a great job, and just that seamlessness, I think that's one of the things that has gone so well. I think it could be difficult for other teams to just seamlessly switch like that and do as good a work, if not better work, while transitioning. So great job.
Just a sec. I love how, when I was seeing the PRs is, let's start this color, let's start that look, let's move the header here. I love how you're taking the full advantage of this rather than going, let's just play it safe. We did the requirements, we're done. Talk to me next week. We check the boxes off. Everybody got excited and trying new things and iterating, which is how I learn. It's great.
Yeah, I think seamless is the word that comes to mind again, to echo Eddie. It did happen quickly, and it just flowed really, really well. I feel like we were really communicative in Slack and in the PRs, which is great. And so it's also a really good feeling to know, I'm going to put this PR up and know that my team has me. If they see something, if something needs to be fixed or changed, we're just going to do it because that's what we've done. And that's the kind of the trust that we've built up. So that felt good. I feel like this last week was a lot because it changed so much. But I think that's just a testament to how we work together.
Rudy, did you cover this one in the first, when you did this one, or do you want to say more?
This was slightly different. TCL was providing you with a structure, but it was almost too much of a rigid structure. And I'm happy you're able to take the training wheels off and figure out how to self-organize. Because when you work professionally, your team will have a structure and all that, but you'll also have a voice in how that structure should be modified, like how you all work best. And it's nice to see everybody experiment with that as well. It's not just the code, it's also the process of working together, collaborating, and delivering the code.
Okay, and what can be improved?
It's me. This one about like maybe next time I would start with wireframe, like like to build and discuss how we want our app to look, like every detail, because like last week was like we did something and we like, oh, maybe we can change this one, like buttons. Yeah, so maybe like next time it would be better to first discuss like every button, every line we want to see, and then build on it. Maybe it would be more productive, I don't know. But anyway, we did good.
For me, it's just this feel that because this team was, I think, mastering the collaboration so quickly, it feels like the second half would be better if you were just like, just another developers on a team. Because, there's like almost like this dissonance of like, I'm seeing the code and things happen, and I wish I could like contribute with some experience there, but then doing it too early would then prevent the team from learning how to collaborate. Like, I got to stay away and see. And then this is what happened, right? The DJ would then go, I love the code, but this naming isn't clear for me. Can it be this? And then somebody else jumps in and goes, oh, I can also refactor that, which is kind of the perfect flow. So it just feels so odd that, most of my job at some point is just like staying away so the cycle can happen. And I'm just watching that nothing is dropped in that cycle, and it was going so well that it was like just kind of watching it happen.
It's interesting. This is a side tangent, but it's interesting because I've often found at times, like when I was an engineering manager at my last job, like sometimes literally being an engineering manager was like being a mentor with you all, which is like, okay, how do I stay away and like let people figure it out so that like people aren't dependent on you, right? Because like, yeah. So anyway, so yeah, nothing for you all to improve. I thought things went great. This last week was very hectic for me. So I thought, well, hey, it could have been improved if I was more involved with the PRs, which I was going to do aside from my craziness at work. So that's mine.
Mine's little, but I realized the value, because Rudy, I think you kept talking about it, of keeping one kind of conversation in the repo and one kind of conversation on Slack. And it was always crystal clear. And then in the last few days, it's been a free for all, because, and it might have a little something to do with being async, but we're just bam, 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 and I don't even know which thread is which thread because we're just talking on both of them. So I could see that being improved upon, but otherwise I think we communicated fantastically. So it's a tiny need.
Yeah, Shelly, and even at work, you'll experience, especially when you introduce a new way to collaborate or people are not sticking to something, it's almost like a herding cats, right? Often you lead by example, and if people keep chatting in Slack rather than here, then you also kind of need to see, well, maybe this thing work better for the team. And yeah, every time when chaos happens, things drop. And I think you'd be one of the people that would kind of be there to make sure he kind of sort of stays afloat. And this isn't like specifically for now, but just in general, as your career and responsibilities keep growing, don't forget to, keep your boundaries and all that. Like you're gonna have some late night weekends, quick iterating, experiments, new stuff, pushing builds and all that. But as your career goes, just don't make that into your lifestyle unless it's really what you want. Because I think just like 5 to 10 years in, I forgot at which point it just happened that I realized, wait, this is not really sustainable the way I'm doing things. And and it just happens at some point, you're just gonna start thinking about that. So I thought, it might be useful to mention.
Yeah, Rudy, I'd love to connect more about that later because I'm feeling that now. So I'm gonna say like design type decisions again, like we pulled it out, but like this week was a lot. Sorry, my mom has like 18 clocks in her living room, so it's going to be a little loud because it's all right. Anyway, so I agree with Alina, like having a wireframe, like we kind of had that at the beginning, but I also think it'd be kind of cool to like bring on some like aspiring designers, because like real world, that's what you're doing. Like, I don't really decide what the buttons look like, right? I'm building what is in a Figma that a designer has created. And so getting to have that collaboration, like, of course we talk and like, I say like, what about this? That's fine. But like, yeah, I think that would be cool. And then plus, you know, we can focus more on implementing that in the functionality as opposed to just creating it all from scratch. So I don't know, that could be like an idea for like bigger picture TCL kind of projects moving forward, but we did it.
Yeah, it's cool you mentioned that. I think Stacy and Andrew mentioned like that was a dream of theirs to involve designers. So if we pass this along, maybe it'll give them like more fire to do that. Cool.
And if you don't feel like a designer but you want to experiment, remember this is also space to be doing that. I'm never going to be designer myself, but man, I love that stuff.
I don't know. Also, we can start with what's next. I don't know if anyone has to go right. I mean, it's 8:02 right now, so I don't want to hold people over for the extra column. Are people good? Eddie, Rudy, do you... Okay, all right.
I guess they can.
Okay. Pair programming, that was awesome. And I feel like I'm good at it. I had an interview on Friday. It was and involved some pair programming, and I wasn't that nervous. It wasn't that awkward. It was kind of like, it wasn't like working with you guys, but it totally felt normal to, you know, have somebody in my screen and in my brain and talking and everything. So that was great. And then what else did I put? Tailwind's okay. I don't know. I'm going to keep working with it because I started using it on a project right at the beginning of this. Since we were using it, I'm like, oh, I'll use Tailwind in my project. I haven't touched my project in over a month. So I will keep trying and see if I can find some love for it. But right now I'm feeling kind of meh. And then Git management, I'm much less scared of it. I'm still not good at it, but I can do it now. So that's a major thing to have learned.
Yeah, the best experience, like it was collaboration and teamwork. So I didn't have this experience before. And pair programming, yeah, how to, like one is guiding, another navigating, and patience. It's like, yeah, in discussions that we have during pair programming, it's a good experience. I landed. Tailwind probably is okay. So I feel like I didn't do a lot like with styling, but before I didn't have any experience with Tailwind at all, and now I feel like much better. I can read it and know how to find like stuff, information, how to use it. So yeah, and special thanks to Rudy, naming. Yeah, now every time, like when I create new variable or function, I think few times like how to name it. Is it if it's good enough? Like if it's like easy to understand what it's going to do. And labels, yeah, we learn a lot about labels and accessibility, and we never thought about this before. Yes, and also and also I had great experience with conflicts on GitHub. Yes, okay, I didn't do it before. It was a good experience, and now I feel much better about this. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I would say pair programming as well. Like my boot camp was self-paced, so I like worked with people like a little bit, but I wasn't in a cohort, and it definitely wasn't something that I did like outside of it. So, you know, a lot of independent learning, which is great, but I feel like coming here again, it just like gave me so much confidence, and it really is kind of like unlocking a superpower of like, oh, whenever two people are like, again, giving feedback and like working through a problem together, you can just like do so much more. So that was very, very cool. And then, yeah, I think that, you know, working a little bit with Firebase and Tailwind before, it was really cool to like dive deeper. because, you definitely see those out there in the real world. So that's been a lot of fun too.
So I talked a little bit about the technical stuff I got, I was a lot more aware of like React state management. I have become detached since I learned it like 4 or 5 months ago. But like our mentors would bring in things and advice where to put hooks, and Rudy showed us how to use the dev tools React tab. And so a lot of those things became a more active effort on my part rather than a passive effort. Because in my other projects when I'm working by myself, it just kind of works because I've set it up to work. And when you're passing it to different components here, like it may not work the way I'm doing it, the way someone else has done it. So it became a lot more of an active effort for me on those technical skills. I got to see like Rudy's styles and components, learn, and Eddie gave advice on how to organize our code and where different things should go and how we should treat variables. And that was really great to see that firsthand from y'all that are like very professional at this, who have all this experience doing this in a real environment, a real production environment. And then Firebase is a technical skill I picked up. And then really what the mentors came in for me that I didn't mention in the appreciation column is that you all were very encouraging of things that we were doing and things that I just like kind of write off as like, well, this is just something I would naturally do. But you would encourage us to like the way we were communicating was really good. The way we were working together was really good. The way we were doing presentations together and handing things off. And that just made me want to do it more and better. And so you were really reinforcing good habits and telling us what those habits, like really making us more active about the habits that we were doing and the kind of developers that we were. And so I got so much from that. And it made me more confident in what I'm doing, that, oh, I don't have to be so passive about this. I don't have to be unsure about this. I am doing it right. And I can do it more. I can say my opinion. I can say how I feel. I can say how I'm coding, and it matters and is important and is all good. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And then, oh, and one other thing to mention, in case, I think people mentioned a couple of things that maybe could be considered for the future. If you have anything in mind or you think of it later of something you think the program could do better, or something you wished, any suggestions at all, please feel free to, like if you didn't mention it here, or you didn't want to make people feel bad or something, whatever, please feel free to message us or Stacy or Andrew, because I know that they really, I mean, it's changed a lot since I've been through it, and I didn't do it that long ago. Like, they really take your comments to heart. And then Alina and DJ, do you want to just talk through these?
For me, what's next? I know, like, I'm definitely liking an experience of going through interview process. So yeah, it looks like it's the same. Like, it's like if you have a weight, like it's very important, the same like coding. So I will be working on this, and I don't want to get rusty. So because it's so easy to forget everything you've done like yesterday or even a week ago. So yeah, so we're going to start something new project. I wish we could do it together. Yeah, I will do it alone, looks like. But if you want to join me, let me know. Yeah, DJ?
Yeah, I think, I'm really at a point where I'm like wanting to find some balance and like figure out how to navigate the marathon, because that's what it is, like on a day-to-day basis. Like, you just have to be mindful of that stuff, because it's not like a 2-month sprint or a 1-month sprint, right? So that's kind of top of mind for me. But at the same time, like there's also been so much to learn. And so I think it's that kind of like being open and receptive to all of that, which is really, really exciting. So yeah, and then maybe someday down the road, mentoring here. Like I want to stay involved in this community for sure. And so, yeah, I would love to see that happen someday.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the only requirement to do this is to have gone through the like either, Eddie and Rudy, like so experienced, came in right as mentors, but then for people like us, just go through the program and then ta-da, you can be a mentor now. So yeah, if you want that, please, they would be so happy to have you. Okay, Okay, and this is just, there's not much here, but this is a TCL-36 recap. So I just added our LinkedIns because just wanted to remind everyone to connect there. We're going to finish adding the videos here, but we'll put the rest of the demos in case you need them for like interviews or anything. The resources that we promised that I think were added one at a time, but now you can have all of them. Okay, and then so what's next? We need to take a picture. Don't let me forget. I know all of you are signed up for Career Lab, so that's exciting. But yeah, the 3 mentors will be collaborating in a blog post kind of recapping what you guys did and highlighting you. So if you can give us, we'll link your names to like one contact for you. So if you let us know if you want your LinkedIn or a Twitter or portfolio, like just give us one contact that you want your name linked to. Don't forget, if you want us to write recommendations for you on LinkedIn, just like ping us. And I'm sure everyone, I guess I didn't ask Eddie and Rudy first, but I'm assuming that they'd be happy to do that.
I get to give A- to Shelly. I mean A+, wrong sign. I keep messing up the signs.
Hey, what? I missed something.
He said I get to give A- to Shelly. And he said, I mean A+.
Fine. Still an A.
Did you, I don't know if you, I know that this had been discussed, but did anyone switch the project to a new Firebase project? Oh, you're set. Okay. Of course.
Wait,
yes.
it's not switched over yet, but you set it up. So
Yeah, I created new project. We just need to copy credentials. Do we need to clone this repo or it will be available for us? GitHub
repo will stay.
It will stay. Okay, thanks.
Oh, so all you have to do is add the credentials and push it back up and it stays there. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then
go on.
Oh, I was just going to recommend doing a demo either together or separately soon so that you can include that on your resumes, or you can put it in LinkedIn. I mean, you can put it a few places, but it helps people get a quick preview of work you've been doing.
Just clip the thing out from tonight without the wine.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. People like
That's
to
some
see
music.
that you can relax.
Hey, do you guys want the background, by the way? We're going to take a picture.
Yeah, so can you send it?
How?
I think you can drop it in Slack.
I should be able to, right?
yeah.
But I tried earlier and I couldn't. Let me see.
Is it a custom one or is it a Slack one?
It's just one I found online.
Okay.
Let's see.
I cut you off, Rudy.
Oh, there we go. Files.
Oh, don't worry, Lauren. I'll give Andrew all the feedback of being cut off ruthlessly and efficiently. Oh, these people from DC, they're so. Anyway,
Wait, do you want stars or do you want the shopping app?
all of it? We can put it on the blog. For the GitHub repo, don't forget to take snapshots, maybe, I don't know, separate branches, however it works best, of the points where the project is like running, because you might, make more changes, and it's always good to have that to show off for the future. I keep messing that up myself because I'm like, I get in this kind of hacky, let's learn things mode, and I always keep breaking my code and never have anything to show. You see the timeline, it's going like crazy, but none of the points it's actually working. Okay, fine. Since it's silence, I'll just add real quick. We'll be on Slack. If you have any current job, future job, interviews, need for encouragement, whatever, just come and talk to us. I'm also gonna be starting to send resumes for myself in soon, hopefully, maybe next week. In the same time with working some of the projects. So I'm like, I kind of get what it's like being in the boat, and I'm here to also offer you all the support I can. And I honestly think you're the best. If I could work with all of you, I would be picking that up like right now. Like, not a joke.
Change your background, Rudy.
Of course, because I'm too busy talking because it feels good, but I'm like not actually doing the theme stuff. Okay, there it is. Give me a sec. I'm slow. Don't write this in my annual review. Good sense of humor, not much of a team player, doesn't add background sometimes. Add image, images and downloads. Gold symbol background. Okay. Do you see it? Sweet. Okay.
Okay. Let me get my screen thing ready.
I like
Okay.
how I have the slide here, which makes it fit with everything else.
Okay, everybody smile. Cute. Expected nothing less. Let me add that in here. Okay, cool. And then, yeah, are there any other questions or thoughts, or do you guys feel set for any like career lab things, or anyone have anything else they want? I don't know. It feels so strange to be like,
I
this is the
know,
last
it's
one.
like, what?
Oh, Rudy, you had mentioned potentially doing the last another like talk through or something, right? Did you want to
Oh
bring
yeah,
that
yeah.
up?
So I'm most likely later today or tomorrow. I'll send the link when we pick different times, because totally optional. But whoever wants to, we can kind of like dive into the code. We can either I can show you or implement some ideas you have. We can see how we can refactor the code more. We can kind of go over if you want to make it look, I don't know, more presentable future employees, but I think you'll get hired by then anyways. But yeah, I would just love to geek out as a developer, not worry about a whole mentoring staying away thing, and that could be anything you need. You can go, oh, I was thinking about components this way. How would I get there? Or we can just go through code, the random things. We can do Tailwind, just like, we'll just geek and dev out,
Yeah, awesome. At what time? Tomorrow?
So tomorrow I'll send you a link to pick a time that works for you. Yeah. So so you can kind of see when your schedule works out. And if it doesn't work for everybody, we can do one with a few people, the other one with a few people. I'm trying to be like really conscious that everybody get a life and schedules and all that. So we can see what time works best.
I love that. So I think most of us, we were talking about that earlier today in our meeting. So yeah.
And if I've just yesterday started to learn Next.js and listed a Ver something service that kind of magically builds stuff for you. Like, holy shit, it's amazing. You just push, it builds it for you, and you get a URL with each version, what it looks like. I used to do all the stuff manually. So I can always like show you some of the stuff as I'm learning, because I think people that know a lot, they just take it for granted that everybody knows, but like, I've never done this before.